So, you want to make the Getaway game mode in Fortnite Creative. Well, you are in the right place. So this is how it works. You walk up to the vault and open it. And then a llama jewel pops out. Then you can build up to the van, walk up here, and board up the van. And that is how you win. So I'm going to be showing you step by step how to make every single thing that happens in that system. And now, you died, that's on purpose, because you see in the scoreboard we have a score of 1. Anybody who gets on the van gets a score of 1, and those are the people that win. So here is how you do it. First, I'm going to start off with the island settings themselves, then we're going to move on to the vault, and finish off with how to make the van. This is kind of a long one, so strap in. And I'm not going to go super in depth as to what each device does because of how many there are. But yeah, island settings. I know apparently on console you guys don't have a search bar, so that is going to be annoying. First one that is very important is type in spawn limit. It's going to be in mode under spawning. Spawn limit has to be set to 1 for this to work. Now the round win condition. Under round and victory condition, round win condition needs to be set to score. And that is it for the necessary settings. So here is the vault. There are quite a few devices. We're going to start with the button. You need to drop down a button device, and these are the settings that I have changed. So you don't need to change any settings other than these. Pause the video and put those in. And then you're also going to need these Volt props, by the way, if you want to use these, are from the Art Deco Bank. And then you're going to need a prop manipulator placed onto the... There are 2 Volt props in here. There's an open one and a closed one placed right on top of each other with grid snap. So this prop manipulator needs to be placed on the closed Volt prop. Let me see if I can grab this. Alrighty, I pulled out the 2 props. Here's the closed one and the open one, and I have them placed right on top of each other. This prop manipulator is going on the closed one. You just have to change these 2 settings, and that is it. And then you need another prop manipulator onto the open Volt, and just these 3 settings. And then the last device that you actually need to place right on the Volt, I'm going to have to move the button to get to it, is this item spawner. And just these 4 settings, and then you're going to need to grab a llama jewel item and drop it into it. And there are some connections. We're going to get into the we're going to get actually into the event bindings after we look through the normal settings of every device. So it's just 2 left for the Volt, though. A class selector and a class designer. The class selector, these are your settings. A lot of these don't actually matter that much. You should probably just place this under the map because you don't want anybody stepping into it. And a lot of these settings, like time to switch, are just to make sure nobody accidentally steps on it. And then a class designer with these 2 settings. And that's it for the settings. Now, event bindings, pretty much everything is based on this button right here. So, on interacting with the button, you need to set the open Volt prop manipulator to show the props, and then this is the closed Volt prop manipulator. You need to hide that. So it'll look like it opens, pretty much. Item spawner needs to spawn the item, and the class selector needs to change the player to the class. And that is everything for the Volt. It's a lot of stuff that happens at one time, but it works. Now, up top here, where we have the actual Getaway van, which this is obviously what it looks like in the game mode. Okay. We're going to start with the score manager device. This one is rarely used anymore, but just 3 quick settings you need to change. And we're going to do the same thing where I'm going to go through the settings and then go through the event bindings afterward. Next, you're going to need to grab 2 buttons with the exact same settings, which are these, and set those aside. We'll do something with the event bindings in a second, and a prop manipulator, with these settings and make sure it just needs to be covering the van. Pretty much. Now, we need a barrier device. These are the settings for that. And a teleporter device placed right inside the barrier device with these settings. Then we need a prop mover that is attached to the van itself, with these settings. Then, that's the van itself, but for the end of the round, we need a few extra things, which are this HUD message device that just is pretty much a win screen. It's not that great. You can modify this yourself, try to make it look a little better if you want. And then up top here, you need, where your van is going to stop moving, you're going to need a damage volume with these settings changed, and then a trigger with these settings. All right, now for the bindings themselves, a lot of stuff is based around these buttons. So we're gonna start with the van front button. On interact, first off, your van back button. Actually, if you already placed down 2 buttons, delete the second one and just set up these on the first button right now. Teleport to the teleporter that you have in the barrier device. The score manager you need to activate and increment, both on the score manager. And then the prop mover you need to start. Now, duplicate this to make a second button. This is just so that the button radius travels, or I mean, is long enough to cover the whole van. And you're going to need to make it so that the van front button disables this one. Right here. And then also this one needs to disable the van front button. So they disable each other. Because you wouldn't want one to deactivate and the other one doesn't deactivate. It just wouldn't work. So that's important. Now that activated pretty much everything here. Except I have this, the HUD message device is going to show when receiving from your teleporter on teleported, as well as it's going to hide when the damage volume, when a player enters that zone. And then up top, there's a few more things. It's going to enable the damage volume, is going to enable when the prop mover has finished moving, and then it will disable again when the trigger is triggered, and that's this trigger right here. And it will trigger when receiving from the damage volume on player entering the zone. And then this should already be set up from the damage volumes perspective. That is pretty much it. So, just one more run through of how this works. The button causes the vault to look like it's opening and drops out a llama jewel. You grab it, which will switch you to a class. And then only the class is allowed to board the van. When you board the van, you'll be put into this barrier that will then cause the van to move upwards, with you still stuck in the barrier. You will be put in this damage volume that will kill you, but your score will have gone up 1. And you'll also see the win thing. And then at the end of the round, only the people who have 1 score will win. And that is how that works. So, this is probably one of the more complicated things I've made a video on. But I hope that this works for anybody who wanted to make the Getaway in creative mode. It was definitely a lot of fun for me to try and figure it out, because of how complicated it was. But that is it. So, like and subscribe if you enjoyed and want to see more content just like this. And use code GravyMan in the item shop if you're picking up any of the new skins. It really helps me out. I have just opened a new section in my Discord server where you can submit ideas for tutorials. So if you want to drop an idea for a tutorial there, the Discord server link is in the description of this video and in my channel about section. So yeah, I'd like to see your suggestions. And this one is actually a suggestion that I pulled from the server. So, yeah, that is everything. I should come up with the catchphrase, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.